I just got back from watching The Last Airbender, and it was so bad. I heard it was bad before we went to see it. I read the reviews. I knew I'd end up being disappointed. In fact, I ended up watching at the town small theater instead of going to a going up to the city to watch it on a big, nice screen. Which I'm glad I did because it was bad and not worth the big screen. I'm actually posting this video in response to a review I watched on YouTube that was positive. But the guy I don't know how it was possible. I don't know how the guy could have liked it, other than maybe the fact that he said he never watched the show. But even then, there were so many plot holes and inconsistencies and just skipping over stuff in the movie that I don't see how you could have any idea what's going on unless you'd seen the show. Not everything was bad, I admit. Zuko, bugged me that he was Indian, but when I saw the guy actually acting, he wasn't that bad. Sokka was okay. The effects of the movie were wonderful. But they kept changing things. There was no sense of time. I find out at one point that several either weeks or months had passed, and I'm like, what? I thought it's just been a few days, but overall, it was bad. The effects were cool. The fighting was cool. The acting, for the most part, was just pure awfulness. I think I've only seen one adaptation of another source worse than this, and that would be the movie Aragon, which, that was bad as well, but I'll talk about that some other time. I had a lot of hope for Last Airbender, because I was a huge fan of the show. Maybe that's why I think it's so bad, because they try to shove a whole season of episodes into an hour and a half, and that's how long the movie was. But how do you shove that much into an hour and a half? It should have at least been. If it was just 30 minutes longer, I think it would have been a lot better. Because they could have taken things slower. The pacing was completely off. That's one of the problems. The effects were awesome, but that was just one of the problems. Acting was another one. And the whole race thing that people were talking about, Aang being white. Wasn't that bugged by Aang being white when I went to see it, but after I saw it, it bugs me now. Because he wasn't the only one who was cast with the wrong race. Everyone was. It seems for the most part, Earthbenders were Asian, Firebenders were Indian, Airbenders were a mix of white and black. Earthbenders were Asian. I think there were a few black Earthbenders, but I'm not sure. Oh, another thing. The name of the main character is Aang. Aang. Say it with me, Aang. Throughout the entire movie, time and time again, people called him Ong. Ong. That's like, it's just, Ong. What kind of name is Ong? They cut out a bunch of important stuff, but like I said, the wartime is constraints, but they could have spared another half hour. In fact, it's freaking The Last Airbender. People wouldn't have mind seeing it if they added an entire hour to the film. It still would have been good. They should have had it longer. They cut out the Kyoshi Warriors and Suki. They cut out Aang's friend. I forget his name. The old man king. Booney, not Booney. Something like that. It was. Oh, they had the earthbending guy they met in season 1, who he got the mustache when he showed up again in season 3. Anyway, he was like 9 in this movie, which is just completely wrong. And they kept talking about stealing scrolls from the Great Library, and Zuko's sister was in the movie, which she isn't supposed to be. She doesn't show up till next season. Ozai was in the movie, he doesn't show up for 2 more seasons. A lot of the things that were important to the show, I'm not just talking about unimportant things that could be removed. I mean, important facets of the show were taken out. There is no romantic relationship between Aang and Katara. The one between Sokka and the princess take up like 2 minutes of the movie. A bit more than that, but not nowhere near enough. They took out the whole spirit world was completely messed up. They also took out what's his name? The last incarnation of the Avatar Roko. Avatar Roko. They took him out. I don't know why they took him out. He was important. They just took him out. There's no mention of the solar eclipse. There's no mention of the comet. Oh no, there is mention of the comet, but they changed it for 3 years down the line, so just a few months. But Aang and gang don't know about the comet, only the Fire Lord does, so I don't see why Aang needs to be in any hallway or anything. It was, it was so awful. The only redeeming thing about it was the effects. It was cool to see some of the things from the original show done with effects, except it seemed in the show people just wave their arms and bending happens. In this, you have to do a complete dance that takes way too long, and instead of attacking them before anything happens, instead of attacking them before they can finish the dance to control the elements, the enemies just stand there and move around stupidly. It's like, oh, I'll just stand here and wave my sword around instead of coming over you there and hitting you with it. And even though the effects were good, they didn't have all of the effects. There was no Avatar state. They took out the Avatar... Well, there was an Avatar state, but it was composed of him standing there with his eyes and tattoos glowing. There was no giant elemental monstral thing. It was and they just... A lot of the relationships that were important in the show were just underplayed or ignored completely. And Zuko was whiny. There was actually a scene where Zuko literally said that my father always paid more attention to my sister than to me. And yes, I know his father did. But the way it was said in the movie was it just came across. He was even more emo than he was on the show. And he was pretty emo on the show. I don't think I have room left in this video to talk about how much I hated that movie. If don't see it unless you're... Well, I don't know if it'd be better for fans or non-fans to see it. Fans might be able to watch it without finding as many flaws in it because they didn't see the show. Or they could watch it and have no idea what's going on because they didn't see the show and thus don't know what goes into all the gaps in the movie. Fans of the show could go see it just to see some cool effects, but then end up hating it because they nitpick every single flaw. I suppose it's okay to see it if you're a diehard fan and just want to see everything Avatar, but if you don't have to have all things Airbender, skip it. For the love of all that is Aang, skip it. Aang, not Ong!